Samuel 18.
So David, it says they chased them down, they drive them out of the boundary of blood. Huge symbolic victory as well as a real victory. They get them back down to the plains, and they pull back up in the high country. And what happens is David kind of becomes a rock star, becomes very popular. All the women love him, all the men want to be him, that kind of thing. And he never really shows, but what I love about his character in his faithful life, he doesn't show that he lets that get to his head. I think he is constantly boasting in the Lord. So he may have come across to you as arrogant if you met him at this time, but he was just that confident in the Lord. The Lord has given us this great victory. And so Saul, he wins Saul's daughter, Michal, and he marries her. And, so he's got the beautiful woman, he's got the war chest of money, he's got a new best friend in Jonathan, Saul's son, and so it's going really well for him. And you could argue, he was probably thinking that he's earned this thing, he's got this done. And so right at that point, Saul starts going crazy again and drives him out. And I know what I love what Jessica talked to you guys about tomorrow morning, and the idea of retreating to the cave is that David goes from the pinnacle of success, and in a completely unjust manner, he is driven out of the kingdom. His wife is taken from him, all of his possessions, everything. He literally has nothing, and he flees out to the desert. And so that's where he is sent. And by the you're going to hear about this more tomorrow morning, but there's a transition in David's life where he's realizing how much he depends on God alone. He can't rely upon the things of man. And he has to be patient, he has to bide his time and trust in the Lord for provision, and he flees to the priests of Nob. And it's one of the most poignant scenes to me in the scripture where he shows up and he's hungry and he eats the bread of the presence, which is a total taboo thing to do. Normally you're stoned for this thing, but Jesus quotes this later saying that this is something that's acceptable to, when they get hungry, they can eat the bread of the presence. But David's there, and David basically tells him, I am alone, I have no weapon. Do you have any sort of sword here? And the priest said, it's great. This is great. Most people don't know this happened. The priest says to him, well, there is the sword of Goliath here, the enemy you killed in your youth. And it's like there's this moment, and I hope in heaven day I can see a replay of this, but David just says, give it to me. There's none like it. And maybe the sword itself was awesome, but I think what David sees in that minute, in that moment is, I remember my greatest victory you gave to me, and he has not forsaken me. Here's the sword of a vanquished champion that I once killed before. So I think David's at that point, as we'll talk about tomorrow, as we look forward into our lives, it's really easy to forget about the beheaded champions behind you as you look to the threats in front of you. But David, in this moment, he says, give that to me, there's none like it. I think the ferocity rises up in him one more time, and he goes to the cave to recuperate and grow stronger than ever.
So he... if I'm him, I would have thought that, okay, maybe this king thing's starting to happen. I mean, he's moved into between the end of 1 Samuel 17 and 1 Samuel 18. He doesn't go back and forth to his dad's house anymore, so he's in the palace. And don't you think he's like, okay, yeah, all right, this is looking logical, and then everything falls apart. I'm going to talk about that here in just a few minutes. But before we do that, so you're making a movie about this?
Yes.
Okay, I want to just... I know that this is going to be a powerful movie, but I want to ask just in front of these guys, I'm going to act like I don't know, okay? All right. So you're making a movie. It's going to be like Gladiator or Braveheart, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I won't have to say, I'm not making fun of anybody. I won't have to say to my buddy next door or the guy I work with, look, we're going to this movie, and I know it's Christian, but just bear with me. Because it's good. I am not taking a slam at anybody, because we've got folks that are trying to do some good stuff out there. But I'd watched Gladiator 5 times first week. First week, my wife had to stop me from it because I was a little bit obsessed. But that movie, I'm like, Braveheart did the same thing to me. You're giving me your word, your movie. Because I'll come to your house. How often? I'll call you, don't I? Yeah, I'm like, Cliff, you better pick up the phone. I'll get you. Yeah, okay. So tell us, your movie's going to be like that, right?
Yeah, I tell you what it is, and the easiest way to break this down, I don't think it's offensive to anybody, is that filmmaking and the arts, the creative arts, are a craft. And just the way is, if you're a Christian and you're a banker, you don't go out to work at the bank to be good for a Christian. Oh, he's a good banker for a Christian. Or, oh, he's a good, groundskeeper for a Christian. What kind of standard is that? And I think you just want to be an excellent groundskeeper to the glory of God. You want to be an excellent accountant to the glory of God, not, well, it's good for Christian. And a lot of times, and it's not just the Christian industry that I'm referring to, it's a lot of things we as Christians just say, well, we're going to put a good message in it, or we're going to do something like that, and then the shortfalls in quality, it doesn't matter because it's about the message. And I would take a great deal of disagreement with that, because it's about the craftsmanship of it. Do things with excellence. And as we approach this movie, it's based on my novels. The lead producer is Grant Curtis, who produced the Spider-Man trilogy and Oz the Great and Powerful. David Cunningham is the director. He did To End All Wars, which Kiefer Sutherland World War II movie that you got to check out sometime. They approach this thing with a dedication to excellence. And they said, however long it takes, we will get the best special effects people, we will get the best screenplay writer, we will get the best, production crew, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so now, this is going to break the world record for the largest independent movie ever made, budget-wise and scale.
In Hollywood.
Yeah.
I mean, the largest, the largest made.
Yep. Largest Bible movie ever. It's this franchise of movies. I have 5 books in the series. 3 of them are out. There's going to be a movie per book. And so like the Lord of the Rings or the Hunger Games or any of that stuff you see out there, it's going to be a franchise of movies like Twilight, but we have something like that. It provides that alternative where it's like, you're not just going to like this because you're a Christian and you want to give it a pass. This is going to be awesome for anybody.
So here's the cool thing about this, guys, that I love about Cliff and Mike and the whole team. They're going to provide us, boots on the ground, with tools that I'm thinking of my neighbor. My neighbor lives next door to me that wants really nothing to do with Christianity. He told me that when I moved in. And but he would go to a gritty movie.
Absolutely.
That's gritty. That's gritty stuff.
Our stunt guy just he worked on 300. Stunt coordinator did the.
Oh, stop!
Oh yeah. I
just got chilled. Are you serious?
It's the kind of thing where here's what it is. It's the guys that are leading it are believers. The producers, the director, the guys that are in charge. But they're going to. The outlook was not we're only going to hire Christians. The outlook was we're going to hire the best in the world at fill in the blank. And hopefully, in the process of making this movie, the gospel comes alive to that person.
Amen.
And so we will get awesome special effects from the guy that did Avatar and Titanic, and we will also witness to this guy.
Did you say Avatar and Titanic?
Yeah,
because it's true, or that was an example?
The crew that is working on this movie, they have for over 4 years painstakingly assembled. I can't share a lot of names, but I can reference movies and say that a lot of the big major Hollywood blockbusters that you know about, these people were very integral in making those things. So
did I tell you, Mike, your guy said I could be in the movie?
Yes, and you're a little old for David, but we can work something out. I told you you could cut an Amalekite's head off in the background somewhere. It won't offend any Amalekites because they're all gone. So
Oh man, brother, we're so proud of you. I mean that. I'm proud of you. We are honored to lock shields with you and your organization. Know the covering. And guys, I'm going to ask you, before I kind of finish up here, would you stretch your hands towards our brother? And where's Mike? Mike and Jeff. Mike, would you guys come here too? Mike and Jeff. These are Cliff's guys. Mike Allsteel and Jeff Dirksen. There's